Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do two of our club cards. One of them is a shadow box card, looks like this. And I'm trying to think, I know I saw the card on Pinterest, but I don't remember the name of the demonstrator, but Jennifer McGuire also has a good video on how to do the shadow box, but I'll show you here. But I did steal this idea, not steal, the idea from another demonstrator, and I wished I could remember her name, but I can't. And then this is the other card. Now your designer series paper might look like this in your kit, or it might look like this in the kit, but this is like this. And I think the lady's name on this one was Sharon Armstrong, but I could be wrong. So if the demonstrator that made this card sees it, please leave a comment so we can tell you thank you. What a great card idea. They're fancy folds, but they're pretty simple. And well, let's just get started and I'll show you how we made them at Club this month. So we're gonna start with the shadow box card. And we're gonna start with, no, I believe I haven't cut the circle out of this one. I have not. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we need to put a circle in the center of this card. Now this card is scored. And if you wanna see the measurements, you'll have to go to my blog at becreativewithkathy.com, and all the measurements are on there for both cards. But I have scored this one 3 times, once here and once here and once here. So the thin score line right here, not the ones in the middle need to be the right side, and the thin like tab score line needs to be to the left side. And we need to put a circle in there. Let me make sure I have the right size circle here. I think it's this one. Yep, this is the one from my layering circle framelits. Let me bring in my die cut machine. Get all this stuff out of the way. So we're gonna start with platform number 1, and then the plate number 2, and then I'm gonna just throw a clear cutting pad on there, which is number 3, my card stock right here, and I'm gonna try to get it centered between those score lines, but not too far to the top. I want it to be just a little bit higher than centered. And then another clear pad on top, and we'll just run that through the die cut machine and cut our circle out of what is really the inside of our card. Now when you get your kit, it's already got the circle cut for you. You don't have to do that. I've done it for you. I don't know why this kit wasn't done. Maybe Apple, I don't know. Okay, so we don't need that circle. The other pieces in our kit is this is a piece that has 1 score line on it. And when you fold it in half, well, not quite half, when you fold it, dang, things are flying, on that score line, you'll notice that one side is really shorter than the other. That is the back. It's supposed to be that way. So when you open up the card, the back is really short. So when we get to that part, you'll know. But I'm gonna go ahead and stamp on this piece first. I need a Pierce mat because the stamp set that we're using is the Whale Done stamp set, and we're going to use the coordinating punch here too. Looks like that. And since it's a photopolymer stamp set, we're going to use the Pierce mat with our stamping. So there's the score line here up the center that is about a 1/2 inch, 2 of them together. I want to make sure I don't stamp on that score line, because those are past this to the right of this score line, because this will show. If I stamp to the left of this score line, it doesn't matter. It's not going to show when the card is all finished. So I'm going to start with some green ink. This is Granny Apple green. Any green you have that's bright will be close. Or I mean, any ink you have that is close will work. That makes more sense. But I'm going to stamp him right here next to that score line, about right there. And now I have just re-inked my ink pads, so they are very vibrant and happy. And again, I'm going to stamp him over here, not worrying about if I go on the left side of this score line, but you notice I did not go on the right side of this score line. And then I want one more. I'm going to stamp him right there. And then, oh, but before I put that away, nope, I'm going to go, let me bring in some Pretty Peacock, and I probably should have stamped, well, it doesn't matter, we'll figure it out later. I'm going to stamp with the little seaweed with the Pretty Peacock ink. I'm gonna just stamp him right there and this right here and see how that goes. I might have to add more later. But then this circle that's also in your kit, now this is with the stitched shape dies, the largest circle, I believe. I want to stamp my words on here, and I'm going to stamp "You're kind of a big deal" toward the top of that stitched circle. And then I'm going to put some long seaweed on this side, that, and another seaweed maybe down here a little bit lower, like that, and then some of that short seaweed in the pretty peacock over here, and maybe some right there. There. Okay, so let's bring this piece. We're going to stamp both of them at the same time. I'm going to just keep going. Then I think I'm done. No, I know what I want to do. I'm going to stamp up here the words. Let me stamp them and then I'll read them to you, that say, "Hoping all your birthday fishes come true." And I'm going to stamp that right up in that corner. And now and then one more thing while we're at it. There's also a scrap in your kit. This is Thick Whisper White. And I'm going to stamp the whale here. Down here toward the bottom right corner. And hold it down, let that ink sink in. And now the reason I wanted it in that bottom right corner was so that when I put it in my punch, I can hold on to the upper left corner. And I can just slide it in there, line it up with a nice white border, just like that, and then punch him out. Okay, let's see what other stamping we need to do. I'm going to now fine. Okay, so my stamps are a little dirty. I just finished club, and I want to make sure they're cleaned again because I used him, and I'll show you in the second card. I used him in orange. Now I want him in purple. So I'm going to just take some of this coral here, bring my circle back in, maybe put some coral down here at the bottom, and then on my piece of thick white cardstock here, I'm going to stamp a couple coral right there, and maybe one over here. There, so it looks like that. And I think we're done with that was Rich Razzleberry. I think we're done with the pretty peacock. That was the words and I think we're done with the Granny Apple Green. But let's bring in some pumpkin pie. And I'm gonna make sure my little fish stamp is clean. I think it was pumpkin pie last time, but I'm gonna be safe and wash him up. Stamp and make sure he's clean. Yes, he is. Okay, we'll put a little school of fish right, maybe, yeah, right here. And I'm gonna have them continue on by, just like that. And let's put a couple fish right here on the front of my card. And then while I have my orange or pumpkin pie fish, I'm going to stamp on that Designer Series paper, another piece that's in your kit. I'm going to just stamp them right along where because there's spaces where the seahorses aren't, and I'm going to fill that in with a little bit of those orange fish, so it looks like that. Just give it a little bit more personality to that Designer Series paper. So let's see, I think that's enough with the fish. Next, I'm gonna bring in some Balmy Blue, and I'm gonna stamp that little seahorse right here. Let's see where he'll fit. He definitely fits right here. So we'll put one right there. I think we'll put one up here along the line of this, maybe hanging on to that seaweed, and I'd like to get one more. Where does it? Let's just put him right here. There. And then let's find room for one on this piece here. So maybe he'll be hiding in the little seaweed right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then last on these pieces, I'm gonna bring in some crumb cake ink. And now in the stamp set, there's a stamp like this, and I think it might be bubbles, but I'm gonna use it as pebbles along the bottom, so that way it looks like the bottom of, I don't know, the ocean, my fish aquarium, whatever this is right here. But I'm gonna just stamp it along like that and give you just a little bottom to the scene that we've, and I'm gonna do the long that we've created. Didn't finish my sentence, but I'm gonna just kind of stamp along the bottom here. And now remember, I'm not stamping on the other side of that score line. I wanna keep it so you don't see it when you open and close your card. There. So there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm all done stamping, I hope, because I have my whale. I have the front of my card, and I'm all good to go. Okay, so now I'm gonna fold on those score lines, making sure my edges line up. Fold that one, and then I'm gonna fold this one, and then that little one over here. I'm gonna fold this one here too. So it looks like that. Now the base of the card, remember now this is the back, this is the front, because I want the back to be shorter than the front. I'm gonna lay the front, or the inside, excuse me, on the back of the card. So this is the back of the card, and I'm gonna line it up with that score line that's down the center. Line it up like that, and then with some liquid glue, or you could use tear and tape here, or even Seal It Plus. We just need a strong adhesive on that little, so to the left of the score line, right here, because well, let me get rid of that. That was bad. Come on, glue. There we go. A little bit of Tombow or liquid glue right here, along that, on that tab. I hope you can see where I added the glue here, and I've lined it up against that score line. Pretty straight. And now I'm going to just close my card, trying to line everything up so it looks like that. Now when you open the card, let me give that a good rub right there. Open the card. This has really been attached to the front of the card, and we want it just like that. Okay, so then we're gonna flip this over, and now this is the back of the card. I'm going to put some adhesive or some tape runner. I'm going to use Stampin' Seal on here, and then I'm going to lay this where when I close the card I see it through just on the back here. I'm not going to try to lay it down, no, but that looks good because now you can see it through that hole just like that. Okay, then we're going to take our card, we're going to close this down, and on here, now not on these two score lines, we don't want any glue here, we only want glue back here. But I'm gonna take that liquid glue again and put some on the back here, making sure I get the edges a little bit in the center. And then when you take your card around the back here like this, and you seal it up just like that. I hope you saw how I did that. So you see I wrapped it around the back, so that part became the back of your card. It's on the back there now. And then when you close your card, it closes just like that. So now you can see through the center there into your Designer Series paper. And I'm gonna take the whale here, and I'm gonna just add a little bit of liquid glue to his tail, and then set him, whoop, now you can't see because the card closed. Set him right there and glue him so he's diving into the water, I guess, like that. Then this piece here, now this has been dry embossed with the folder that goes along with that bundle. It's called the Seabed emboss folder, I believe, and I believe it's a 3D emboss, but this is all embossed for you. We just need some liquid glue and add this to the front like this. So it looks just like that. And we'll put some dimensionals, let me put this away. Some dimensionals on the back of our white circle here. Let me get those backings off, and then our card is all done. I'm gonna put that just above the center point It's a nice place right there. So then there's your shadow box card. Is that not cute? Adorable. Love that card. Okay, let's go along to the next card. The next card, like I said, where's my packet at? Here's my packet. You'll have 2 different designer series papers. Well, you won't have 2, you'll have your choice. Well, you don't have a choice either. In your packet, you'll either have this one or you'll have this one, because this card requires a full sheet of designer series paper that I've cut down for you. Oh, and look, I need to cut the hole on this one too. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this in half just so I can see what the front of my card will be. And then on this piece, I'm only gonna put some adhesive on the edges here. Whoop, whoop. Come on. Now this is already done in your kit too. I've already laid the piece on there and cut the hole. And I don't know why I didn't cut this one, but let me cut this one real quick. So we're gonna use the same layering circle dies, the same sandwich. We're gonna use the number 1 platform, the number 2 plate, a number 3 cutting pad, and then I believe it's the same circle again. Let me make sure on my card. Nope, it's a little bit smaller circle this time. There's so many in here, but you can see while I have it out that I used this, not that one, must be this circle here, to cut the frame, and then I layered one inside, and that's how I cut out this piece here to make the frame around the window. Is I just used 2 layering dies and then 1 more die just inside for the circle in the front. So this circle, nope, that's the white piece. I did have the right circle. Doggone it. Let me find my circle. Now I'm all thumbs. Okay, so it must be this circle. Yep, that I cut that out with. So let's lay this on here. That looks pretty good. Find my other cutting plate. Where did it go? Here it is. And then cut that piece out. Okay, now we're ready to go. So like I said, in your kit, this is already done for you. You don't have to do that, and I've already cut the layer here. Let's go ahead and attach this right now. So I'm gonna take this piece with just a little bit of liquid glue. I want a scrap of paper just in case so I don't get any glue on my work surface here. But I'm gonna just take and put, maybe I am. Let's see if my Tombow is gonna work again. There we go. Just a little bit of glue on this scalloped frame. And remember, with Tombow, a little bit goes a long way, or I should say with liquid glue. There's all kinds of Tombow glues, but liquid glue is one of the Tombow glues I use. And see how that lines up just perfect, just like that. Okay. So now that's off to a pretty good start. So also in your package, you have a piece of Whisper White, and it's scored twice here. Let me fold this. We're gonna Z-fold that one. So it looks like that. And then fold this one back this way. There we go. Now I want to lay this on the inside of my card. Let me get my ink because we're gonna stamp, and my mat, because we're using photopolymer, so I gotta use the Stampin' Pierce mat and Peacock ink, but I wanna stamp in the center of this circle. So see how my card front, or I'm sorry, the inside of my card should be about here. You see how I've got the border all the way around? And then I'm gonna open this up holding it so it doesn't move. And when I close this, now it's gonna stamp just where I want it. And yeah, if I mess up, I can still turn it over. So let me see if I can stamp this down right here in this circle. And it says, "For my love for you is bigger than the ocean." Nope, and look, I have a little boo-boo. Oh, I have a piece of paper stuck to my stamp. So there's a good example of what not to do. Okay, let me try again. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to fold it back the other way. That's a good thing. At least we can turn it over and stamp again. I'm going to line it up again. I've cleaned off my stamp, except now my fingers are dirty. Lay this down where I want it. Unfold it. Hold it right there. And let's see, my stamp is clean. Ink him up good. And lay that down. Let's see what happens this time. Yep, there, so much better. Okay, now I'm gonna take this piece. Let's finish stamping on here. We have, oop, no, I need that again. I'm gonna bring back in that Granny Green. And I'm going to stamp that long seaweed all the way to the right here. And then this piece here is going to be covered with this Designer Series paper that's also in your kit right here. So then I'm going to skip over to the main part and stamp him right there again. Okay, we're done with the Granny Apple Green. And then again with that Pretty Peacock, I'm going to stamp just another little seaweed there and another little seaweed right there. I think that looks good. While I have my peacock ink out there though, I'm gonna bring this circle. I'm gonna get rid of this so I can see. White on white is hard to see, but white on that gray, because I'm gonna ink up that big whale punch again, or stamp again. And I'm gonna stamp him right there. Hold that down, let that ink sink in, because he's a pretty solid stamp and we want him to be a solid image. Okay, and take that off. Ooh, and look how nice he looks. Okay, let's continue stamping. I'm gonna let him dry. So I want to wash my coral, because he was purple for the first card, but this card, because the Designer Series paper, let's see, he's not on that one. On this one, how he's got a purple tone, I want him to kind of match the Designer Series paper. So I'm going to go with my pumpkin pie ink and just stamp a couple of those coral pieces. Just like that. And I think that's all the stamping I'm going to do. Let me see if that's, yeah, I think I'm happy just like that. So then I'll take that Designer Series paper, since I got my card base right here, and some adhesive. And I'm going to put that right in between those score lines, and it goes all the way top to bottom with no gap, and there's just a little bit of gap on the sides to give it room to fold. We'll set that aside. So also in your kit you have a little scrap, here it is right here, of Pretty Peacock, and we need to punch out the water pieces from the punch. So what we need is this little piece here, I hope you can see it, and this little piece here. These are trash. So on the little circle that I stamped my whale on, here he is. I want to make sure first of all that this water goes this way, and this one, I guess you call it water, it's a sprout, a spigot, I don't know, he's shooting up water. So I'm going to take my Take a Pick tool and just pick that piece up and put a little bit of liquid glue on the back. Hopefully he'll stay put and my glue will cooperate. Yep. And then I'll set that down so it looks like it's coming out his blowhole here. And then the same thing with this piece, just a little bit, tiny bit of liquid glue goes a long way. There we go. And set that one down right there. And look how cute he looks there. Okay, then we're going to take this whole piece. I'm going to use liquid glue on the back of this. Sometimes circles are hard to get centered, so this way if I use the liquid glue I can kind of move it around and make sure I have it on there straight, which I did pretty good the first time. Okay, then we're gonna take this piece and fold it up. I'm gonna put tape on the back of this one. Now you've noticed I've only put tape on the back of this part, not on this part, because this part we want to move. And let me center this in my card. I think that looks good right there. Ooh, it probably should have been a little bit over. Nope, it still looks okay, because when you close it, oh yeah, it looks really good. Look, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to close my card, and you can see we need to put glue on just where you see this white non-stamped folded piece, because when we put glue here, and then we take this circle and lay it back in there. Let me see, I want my whale about like that, and hold that down. Give it a good rub, make sure he's nice and stuck. Yep, and look, now when you open your card, let me get rid of those little shavings of paper. Okay, it looks like that. Is that not adorable? There you go. So that is the two of the three cards that we did at Club this month. So we have the Shadow Box card, and then we have the Fancy Fold Open card, which I love. This is a simple card, and so you figure the 2 inches of Designer Series paper plus the 4 inches of Designer Series paper here makes a perfect, so a 6x6 Designer Series paper makes the perfect card. There you go. So if you have any questions, please feel free to either email me or text me, and I will answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying making cards. See you later. Bye-bye.